So it would seem as though the internet is just riddled with... So you have these questions. Do you spread yourself thin and put yourself out there on as many as you can? Or do you focus on one or two? Well, I think possibly I may have eliminated one. Or, well, they might eliminate me. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to get our dork on in just a few moments.
This is the Chris Top Program.
Hi, I'm Chris Top. First off, I want to thank you for tuning into the Chris Top Program. While I try my best to keep the show as rated PG-13 as possible, sometimes things slip out, or sometimes things happen, and that's just the way live radio goes. And because this is the internet, the FCC isn't around to tell me what I can and can't do. So because of the occasional slip-up or the guess that might get out of hand, you really need to be 18 or older to listen. If you happen to be under 18, please make sure you get your parents' permission.
Go! One man, one dream.
Dorks unite.
No, it's Dorks of the World.
Dorks of the World unite.
Nice. The most sane radio personality on Spreaker.com.
Because I'm losing my mind.
No, you're being ridiculous.
I'm positively losing my mind. You made an F and you suck, little Timmy. Because if you don't know how to lose, you don't know how good it feels to actually win.
Boldly spreaking where no man has spoke before.
No, dude, it's not going to hurt their feelings, and if it does hurt their feelings, they need to grab their balls.
Okay, now I want you to take a deep breath first.
I feel giddy like a schoolgirl. Not afraid to be controversial.
I'd like to welcome Yo-Yo Dino to the chat. Yeah, I gotta say, Dino, that was really gripping.
The one and only Chris Top, only on Spreaker.com.
Yeah, I've really gotta get a life.
Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
I am the one and only Chris Top.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
Broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment.
The VCR and the DVD, there wasn't that a black back in 1970. We didn't know about the World Wide Web, was a whole different game being played back when I was a kid. Wanna get down in a cool way, picture yourself on a beautiful day. Big bell bottoms and cool long hair, just walking in style with a portable MP3 play. You can listen to the music on the Chris Top program. Chris Top program, Chris Top program. You can hear the music on the Chris Top program. Chris Top program. Wanna hear the music on the Chris Top program. Chris Top program. You can hear the talk in the Chris Top program.
Sonny Clarksville, Tennessee.
You can hear the talk in the Chris Top program.
This is the Chris Top Program.
And I am the one and only Chris Top, broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment here in sunny Clarksville, Tennessee, with an ocean view. You know, I typically don't let things upset me. I really don't. It seems the older I've gotten, the more passive I become. And I don't know if that's good or bad. But last time I went to the doctor, they said my blood pressure was great. Well, first she asked me if I take high blood pressure medicine, and I thought, oh, great. And see, I don't know if that's the right way to lead into a question when you're taking someone's blood pressure. And this is just my point of view to any nurse that might be listening. So automatically my blood pressure probably went up when she said that. I said, no, I don't take any blood pressure. Why? Why are you asking me that? Well, she said, because it's very good. And oh. So then it goes back down again, I'm guessing. Because it kind of freaked me out a little bit when she said that. But yeah, I'm a little more laid back than I used to be. Thank goodness. And we're going to talk about Reddit. Because I'm trying out a couple of new sites. And to be honest with you, I hadn't even heard of Reddit. And that's how out of touch I am, because it's been around since 2006, I believe. Hadn't even heard of it. Well, no, I take that back. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times because there were posts that were mentioned from Reddit, and I'd used it in a couple of things, but I didn't know what it was. Never been to Reddit, so I thought, well, I'll try it out. And I'm also trying out Stumble Upon, and they're both confusing as hell, I've got to be honest. But Reddit kind of hacked me off. And we're going to get to that in a second. But there's something a little bit more important that I want to talk about. And it's a good thing I do radio. It really is, because I'm kind of cheap sometimes when it comes to getting my hair cut. And Sarah's going to kill me for telling the story, but she's here now, and she was actually cutting my hair for me. I think it was yesterday. She gets the clippers out, and she asked me which guard to use, and I don't want a bald head. I don't have a receding hairline. I have lots of hair. So, I mean, maybe in a week I can give some to Locks of Love or something like that, because that's how fast it grows, and it gets really, really thick. So I tell her to use the really long one, because it's really short, but it's not like, hey, you can see my scalp short. So anyway, and it's really hard to mess up when you have a guard on. I mean, I could almost do it myself, but I'd probably miss a couple of spots, kind of thing. I've even had Abby cut my hair before, and it worked out pretty well. But Sarah was using the guard to trim my hair, and I would just kind of bend over the sink, and she would just kind of start at the back and just, kind of go over it. And so she was almost done, so then she decides to kind of trim around the ears a little bit. So she starts on the left side. Perfection. Great job. And then she goes to the right side. And this is why you should probably never do this at home. This is why you should probably use a professional. Because she's trimming my hair, and then I hear, and I kind of freak out a little bit, but I didn't want to move, because I didn't want to hear that sound again, because it was horrifying. I thought, oh my gosh, do I have a bald spot over my ear? So she gets done, and I put my glasses on, and I stand up. Lo and behold, I have a bald spot over my right ear. I have a little Kojak going on, just over my right ear. But luckily, I was out in public today, and nobody really noticed. So I guess it's one of those things that you just tend to notice if it's you, and no one, like if one of your eyes is bigger than the other one, or something like that. Unless you watch that David Hasselhoff video that I have posted on my Facebook page. One of his eyes is obviously larger than the other one, but he's still really cool because he's the Hoff. So back to Reddit, and what I'm trying to do is I'm thinking that there might be a couple of people from Reddit listening to this particular broadcast, so I was trying to milk them for more time. But I gotta, okay, this is what, let me start here. So when I do a broadcast, it gives me the option to tweet, to share it on Facebook, to Tumble, to Google it, and then also Reddit is the option as well. So usually after my broadcast, I'll go through and I'll load a picture on the broadcast, and then I'll go through and I'll just click share on everything, because that's kind of the idea, right? To get your stuff out there. So I just I started clicking it on Reddit because I wanted to share it on Reddit, because, well, that's why I joined the site in the first place, was to get a little more exposure. So I get a comment. Oh, and let me find the comment. See, I'm not prepared. Well, I've got all of mine up, and I've left a few posts. And what I'll do is I'll just post something like, the Chris Top program invented the rock and roll this city was built on. And then you can just click on that, and it'll take you to the Chris Top program. So I got a comment. Okay, here it is. Here it is. And this is I'm assuming this is a moderator, I'm guessing, on Reddit. And his name is Handicapper General. Now, first off, Handicapper General, it's not very, very politically correct, your name. What you should do, you should change your name to Handicapable General, because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Now, you're not going to hurt mine. I've been around the block a few times, so it's okay. But this is what Handicapper General said, and I do apologize for his name, or her name. I don't, see, there I go assuming, because a general could be a chick as well. So I have to watch myself, and I have to be politically correct, too. And this is what, I'll just call him Handy, or her. And that way it's more like we're buddies. So this is what Handy said. As with most of Reddit, and this is going to be confusing as hell because I've read it 500 times and I still don't understand. As with most of Reddit, we don't mind if you do a little self-promotion. Okay, so far so good. But then Handy says, keep it to a minimum. Okay, I can maybe deal with that. And then he goes on, or she goes on to say, try to also contribute to the community. Okay, this is where I get confused, because I thought I was contributing to the community. Okay, so let's start over again, and I won't pause. I'll just read through the whole thing. And this is by Handicapper General. As with most of Reddit, we don't mind if you do a little self-promotion, but keep it to a minimum. Try to also contribute to the community, and very rarely make a promo post about your podcast. So, I don't get it. So I can take other people's stuff and post it on Reddit, even if they don't want me to. But me being the creator, the owner of my original stuff, there may be a problem with me posting my own stuff with, obviously, I have my own permission to do it. So, see, I'm confused. So they want me to contribute to the community, but very rarely make a promo post about your podcast. Well, I have to be honest with you. I would have let this just roll off my shoulders. But me not knowing anything about Reddit, I decided to look a little further into the situation. Now, I do have to say this. If you go to the Reddit homepage, and then you decide to submit a new post, then you scroll down to the bottom. It says, please be mindful of Reddit's few rules and practice good Reddicket. So, I after he said that, I went ahead and I clicked on the few rules, because I felt like what I was doing was not wrong, because I can do this on Twitter anytime. I can post my show over and over again on Facebook if I want to. But this is what Reddit says. It's under Don't Spam, and then it has a little drop-down menu that says, what is spam? It says, not okay, and it's in red. And in Reddit, you shouldn't use red because that's very hurtful. You should use something like purple, because then I won't feel so bad knowing that I broke the rules. So it says, not okay, submitting only links to your blog or personal website. Okay, so I didn't read the rules before I did it. So throw me in Reddit jail. And this is going to go a little further, because right now I'm thinking, okay, so I broke the rules a little bit. I need to steal stuff from other people and post that from time to time. Then I can post my original stuff very rarely. So I guess I kind of get it. Kind of confused, but I kind of get it. It's okay submitting links from a variety of sites and sources. It's okay submitting links from your own site, talking with Redditors in the comments, and also submitting cool stuff from other sites. So I can still post my stuff. I just have to, again, steal other people's stuff as well and post those links to Reddit. And then it's not okay posting the same comment repeatedly in multiple subreddits. See, it gets confusing, because you've got Reddit, you've got subreddits, and then I'm sure there's other things that I don't understand yet. And I may not have the chance to understand, because I feel like they're probably going to kick me from the site. Because I just recently put this post up, and this is what I said. I said, maybe Reddit is not for me. Well, this is my title. Reddit or not to Reddit? Am I wrong for posting links to my original podcast? ? And this is what I said. And then there was recently a long comment left, and we'll actually go over that too. And I haven't read it yet. I haven't read it yet. Okay, so maybe Reddit is not for me. Was recently notified by Handicapper General that I should not post my original podcast links to the site. I was told to contribute to the community. My podcast links do not contribute to the community, ? I suppose I could find other podcast links and post those. This is going to make a great topic for my next broadcast. No worries, though. I would never post the link. And there's some sarcasm in there. ... Chris Top. And I just got this comment, and this was left 7 minutes ago. Hey, here's the deal. There are some new strict rules for the podcast subreddit. Okay, so I'm in a subreddit. I'm not in the real Reddit, I'm in a subreddit. It's a sub of the real Reddit, I guess. The reason for them is that links to original content created by podcasters and promoted on Reddit was generally frowned upon because people were essentially just using Reddit as a promotional tool and not a community for encouraging discussion as it is intended. It eventually became a lost cause to promote your podcast on Reddit, but these new rules, while strict, have improved the subreddit a great deal. I'm so confused, man. I really am. The mods of Reddit Podcasts decided to create a daily podcast thread that allows podcasters to promote episodes of their shows on the day the episode is released. I release mine every Tuesday, so I leave a comment in the daily podcast thread every Tuesday to promote my new episode. If you start posting your new episode to these threads, you'll receive a much warmer welcome around here. Best of luck. Read the rules in the sidebar, too. Okay, now I still have an issue. I still have an issue, and I'm going to tell you why. This is like my third day on the site, and I've already gotten my wrist slapped for posting my original content. First, let me say this to you, Reddit. I'm Chris Top, bitch. Now, let me say this, and this is a little... See, this is what bothers me about Reddit. This is what bothers me, and I'm going to... Okay, because it took them, 2 days before they said something to me? And I did some research on Reddit, and like I said, I didn't really know what Reddit was until a few days ago, and until I got on here. And honest to God, I'm still not sure what it is. I mean, I started posting on it, and I still don't really get it, to be honest with you. But I did a little research on Reddit, and this is what I found. Now, remember what I said earlier. Reddit actually began in 2006. And I want you to listen to this. Now, Reddit has a strong culture of free speech and very few rules about the types of content that may be posted. Now, this has led to the creation of several communities that have been perceived as offensive, including forums dedicated to, are you ready for this? Jailbait. Now, jailbait has been banned. So, Reddit, I do take my hat off to you. And also pictures of dead bodies. Now, the reason they were banned, though, see, Reddit wasn't going to take this stuff down on their own. Not until Anderson Cooper got involved in September of 2011. So by this time, we're going on for 5 years. Now, suggestive or sexual content featuring minors was not explicitly banned until February 2012. So, how long can you use the free speech thing to get away with something like this? Evidently, Reddit was able to use it for 6 years. So you're telling me that I can't come onto Reddit for 2 days and post my podcast, but these creeps can post sexy, and I say that in quotations, and I say that very, very lightly, sexy pictures of preteens? Really? You're going to let them get away with that for 6 years, but you won't let me have 2 days? Are you kidding me? Just wanted to get that off my chest. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, is Reddit really for me? You know, I'm anxious to see if I can get kicked off quicker than the child porn people did. Wouldn't that be interesting if I got kicked off for just posting links to my podcast? I mean, if it took them 6 years, it should take me 50 years to get kicked off. I know it's their site. I know they can make any kind of rules they want. They can let anybody play on Reddit they want to let play on there, but maybe that's not the kind of company I want to keep. The kind of people they let get away with that kind of stuff for 6 years. Am I taking this too far? I don't think so. I don't think I am. So, I don't know. Maybe Reddit's not for me. I'll have to reevaluate maybe later after I see what they say. I do want to welcome everybody that's in the chat. I've got Brent Bradley in the chat. Brent says he has good news. I'm guessing you're probably not pregnant. We've got PS Infinity Radio in the chat. PS, it is wonderful to see you, and Waba back to you. Now, with you spurting out Waba right off the bat, I'm assuming that you are familiar with the show, so I'm guessing maybe you're someone that changed their name. So if you want to kind of let me know who you are or who you were, then maybe we can go from there. Brent says he has some good news. Do I know who Tommy Emmanuel is? I don't know who you're going to have to explain to me because, like I said, I'm out of touch. I didn't know what Reddit was until 2 days ago, and I've almost gotten kicked off. And I probably will get kicked off after this. But you know what? I don't care. Because there are 1,000 other social network sites that I belong to. So life will go on for Chris Top, even without Reddit. I think I'll be okay. But I really would like to get kicked off before I just get frustrated with them and quit. So I'll continue to post my podcast, and I'll let you know if I got kicked off before the child porn people got kicked off. So we'll see how this experiment works out. So I will continue to post my stuff. But that dude did say I'd get a warmer welcome if I posted it under that particular thread. So no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to conform. I don't, a harsh welcome could be better for me than a warm welcome. It may get me more exposure. And why don't they just let the system work? I mean, if people are had a problem with spamming their podcast, I mean, the good stuff's going to rise to the top, right? So, I mean, doesn't that kind of stuff just work itself out? Call me crazy, but I think it would work itself out if you would just let nature take its course. But then again, it's your site. You do whatever you want to do, and I'll do whatever I want to do. I'd like to welcome Brenda to the chat. Brenda, it's good to see you. And PS Infinity Radio says, it sounds like a dumb service. Holly says, hello, everybody. She says, wow, these people on Reddit are morons. Holly, I got your email, but I didn't check my email until about 10 minutes ago, and I checked it on my phone. And Holly sent me an audio that I could play for a promo for her show, and I haven't had a chance to download it yet, but my phone wouldn't do it, so I'm hoping I'll be able to convert it. If not, then we'll have to figure something out if I can't convert the file to use it. But I told Holly, and this goes out for anybody, if you want me to play a promo for your show on my show, and if you're listening from Reddit, evil Reddit, this is Evil Chris Top. If you're a podcaster trying to make his way through the spam ocean of podcasts on Reddit, then you can send me your promo as well, and I'll play it on my show just for you. Just to show you that, hey, there's no hard feelings. So anyway, these people on Reddit are morons, and that doesn't come from me, Handy Capable. It really doesn't. So let's see what else we got going on in the chat. Holly says, I came on earlier and saw no Chris Top show, and I was really bummed out because I wanted to hear a show. I was about to go to sleep, but then I came back here to check, and Chris Top was on. So I said, F sleep. Chris Top is better. You know, Holly, this is a proven fact, and I'll go ahead and say it like I'm supposed to. Fact, 10 minutes of the Chris Top program is better than 8 hours of sleep. So imagine if you listen to the whole thing, you'll feel like a superhero. And we're actually going to talk about superheroes a little bit later, so that'll be fun. I just had to get this off my chest first. Holly says, I downloaded Reddit and thought it was stupid, so I deleted it. Hello, Sonia. It's good to see you. Thank you so much. Sonia is a regular in the chat now. Okay. So PS Infinity Radio is formerly TIR, so it's good to have you in the chat, regardless of who you formerly were. And then we have Scooter in the chat. Scooter, it's always good to see you. Scooter is my Red Bull loving, drinking friend. I think if Scooter could inhale, I just invented a new word. If Scooter could inhale Red Bull, I think that he would inhale Red Bull. Now, Brent, I don't know who that person was that you were talking about earlier. I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. But you're absolutely, positively in the right place. You are, my friends, listening to the Chris Top program. And I'm checking my Reddit to see if anybody else left anything, because now I'm all into this. I want to see if I'm getting banned yet. So I don't know. Let's see. And handy capable... wait a minute. Okay, no, that's the same thing. So, no, nothing new yet. Nothing new yet. So I'm going to... Once this show is over, of course, I'll post it. And then we'll see how all this plays out with Reddit. And then when I do my next broadcast, I'll let you know if I'm still on there or not. I don't know. And normally I'm not like this. I promise I'm not. But, I mean, they just kind of hacked me off. And I can't help it. They just did. And it kind of makes me mad. But on the show today, we're going to talk about some fun superhero stuff. Because there are so many superhero markets out. Or movies out. You know what? I think what's going on, I think the movie industry is spamming us with superhero movies. So we need to contact the industry and say, look, now it's okay if you release the occasional superhero movie. And I realize each one of them makes gazillions of dollars. I get that. And you're in it for the money. You're going to make the movies that make the money, but you've got to make other movies too. You've got to make other movies that don't make as much money. You've got to release those as well. So we're going to have to notify the movie industry and say, hey, look, you got to stop making all these great films, all these big blockbusters, and make more crappy ones that we don't want to see, just to sort of even everything out. Because you can't just be one-sided and make all these superhero movies. That's you shouldn't do that. It's just not right. Okay, I thought, I think Jay-Z should probably get an award for one of the most selfless people in the entertainment industry. And I'll tell you why. This will probably make your jaw drop. Now, back in 2012, it was Harry Belafonte. He said to Jay-Z and Beyonce, he said they turn their backs on social responsibility. And I guess if you're a big superstar like that, you do have some kind of social responsibility. I mean, there are certain things that you probably should do as far as setting an example goes and being a role model and things like that. Now, he was asked about that recently in an interview. He is so conceited. Wait till you hear this. This is a quote from Jay-Z. This is what he said when he was asked about what Harry Belafonte said about them turning their backs on social responsibility. He says, "This is going to sound arrogant, Jay-Z, dude, you have no idea how arrogant this is going to sound. Okay, I won't stop. This is going to sound arrogant, but my presence is charity. Just who I am, just like Obama is. Obama provides hope, the hope that he provides for a nation and outside of America is enough. Can you believe Jay-Z is arrogant enough to say something like that? I couldn't believe it. I'm sure there are thousands and thousands of homeless or starving kids all around the world, probably millions. I'm sure it's millions. I haven't, excuse me for my ignorance, for not knowing the exact numbers on that. But I'm sure they're a lot lower now just because Jay-Z exists. Just because Obama exists, and I'm not down on Obama as much as I'd like to, this is all Jay-Z. The hope that Jay-Z provides for a nation and outside of America, he's just like Obama. Just his sheer presence, just the glow that he emits from his body. When he enters a room, it just fills those bellies. It puts homes, it puts roofs over people's heads that are homeless. I mean, definitely you want to walk behind Jay-Z because when he toots, roses grow out of they grow out of acid. So when Jay-Z toots, we have a plethora of acid roses that just grow just spontaneously. Jay-Z, you are a douchebag. You're absolutely positively in the right place. This, my friends, is the Chris Top program. Okay, now let's go back to what Brent was saying earlier. Let's see. He says, Tommy Emmanuel is one of the best guitarists alive. Well, I'm signing a contract with his manager. I'm signing a contract with his manager. She's the one that brought Keith Urban to the States. Well, that's let me know how that goes, and send me some more cover songs because I play the heck out of your songs all the time. So give me some new material, Brent, and that way when you become superstar famous, then I can say, hey, you heard him first on the Chris Top program. PS Infinity Radio says Jay-Z is awesome, and that's when I first bought Jay-Z up. But then they said, all right. That made me kind of hate him. That's what I don't know if you can kind of hate somebody. I don't know. Hate's a pretty strong word, so I don't know if you can kind of hate somebody. Either you hate him or you don't. So maybe you just strongly dislike him right now. I don't know. And Holly says, my jaw just dropped without even thinking that Chris Top just warned us that it would happen. And I told you. I prophesize so many things on this show, so I mean, you guys should at least start to take me seriously when I mention my prophecies. Really. Now, this is the Chris Top program. You're absolutely, positively in the right place. Much more to talk about, and if I get any new post on Reddit before the show is over, and I post my newest episode before I spam the pages of Reddit, before Chris Top takes over Reddit, just from spamming them with my 2 or 3 episodes a week. Oh, they're going to hate me. They're going to hate me at Reddit because Chris Top will take over Reddit, unless they boot me in the next 10 minutes. But we'll see how that goes.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here? My name is Dorcas Maximus, Commander of the Dorks of the North, General of the Dork Legions, loyal servant to the true Emperor Dork Vader, and I will have my vengeance. Dorks of the world, unite!
Chris Top. Never awesome, but always wabba.
There Back this hitch up into the water. Untie all the cables and rope. Step onto that AstroTurf. Get yourself a cozy, let's go. Who said anything about skiing? Floating is all I wanna do. You can climb the ladder, just rock the boat while I barbecue. On the pontoon, making waves and catching rays up on the roof. And jumping out the back, don't act like you don't want to. Party in slow motion, out here in the open. Motorboat reach your hand down into the cooler. Don't drink it if the mountains are blue. Try to keep it steady as you recline on your black inner tube. Pontoon, making waves and catching rays up on the roof. Jumping out the back, don't act like you don't want to. Party in slow motion, out here in the open. Motorboat mile an hour with aluminum side, wood paneling with a water slide. Can't beat the heat, so let's take a ride. On the pontoon, making waves and catching rays up on the roof. Jumping out the back, don't act like you don't want to. Party in slow motion, I'm out here in the open. Motorboat on the pontoon. On the pontoon. Back this hitch out into the water. On the pontoon.
Okay, Holly says whoever is doing this pontoon cover is really good. She hits the notes and has a nice tune, great passion as well. I can really tell she feels what she's singing. And just to answer your question, that's Alyssa Kayleen Mellinger. And you can just Google her, and that should pop up on YouTube. And it's a really good cover. I love that song, and I was looking for a good cover so I could play it on the show. And you can judge the covers if you just don't judge me. Because I won't judge you ever. Ever. Oh, and I have a new Reddit post. I'll read that to you in just a minute. And I responded already.
When I'm laying in bed at night, I wonder, how does the Thing from the Fantastic Four go to the toilet? Chris Top program, we're always taking steps to make the show multicultural, because we have to remember this is the internet.
I'm working on being awesome.
AKA Waba.
Dorks of the world, unite.
That was sweet. Now try something in Irish.
Bí go a carja, is mis sé Rory McQueer os Loch Orman in Ireland. Agus an ish, tátu a géist ar an Chris Top Show or www.spreaker.com.
Yeah, I didn't understand any of that. Go ahead and try the other thing we talked about.
Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
That was really beautiful. It really was.
I'll tell you what's beautiful, and that is, my friends, the Chris Top program. Now, let's go back to Reddit for a sec. We can make Reddit the theme of the show today. So, Sift Show says, so what's the link to your podcast? So I'm thinking maybe he's trying to get me booted. I don't know, but I fell for it. I said, shh. Okay, I'm going to have to whisper this because I don't want Reddit to hear. I said, shh, I can't tell you, but I'm broadcasting right now. And then I put this in parentheses because I'm figuring it's like, no one else can see it. And then I put Spreaker.com, the Chris Top program. And then I said, anyone who wants a promo played on my show, get in touch with me before I'm banned. That's what I said. So let's refresh this real quick. And Sif Show said, ha, sure. Then he gave his address. Okay, and it's saveitfortheshow.com. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you what. I'll tell you what. He says his show is funny, I promise. So I'll check it out after mine. But this is from Sif Show. He says, ha, sure. Give www.saveitfortheshow.com a shout out. My show is funny. I promise. You know, it's been my experience when someone has to say that their show is funny, it's usually not. But I will give you the benefit of the doubt, my friend, and we'll see how it goes. And Sif Show says, dude, I'm listening now. I'm not getting you booted. So I appreciate you listening, and I will check your show out. Why don't you go ahead and sign up for Spreaker? That way you can type in the chat, and you, Sif Show, can become a voice in my head. But I've got to warn you. I have to warn you right away that if you join my chat, what you're doing is you're telling the world that you're a dork. It means you're willing to step from the closet and embrace the light of your dorkhood. And if you're okay with that, then you'll love the show. I'd also like to challenge you to post the dorkiest picture that you have of yourself on my Facebook fan page. You can even post 3 or 4, and I promise I won't boot you from the fan page. You can post as many dorky pictures as you want. And I will even let you post a link to your show on my fan page. You see, that's how giving Chris Top is. Yeah, I don't mess around. I really don't. And he says, okay, give me the benefit of the doubt. So you've got it, but I want you to join my chat before I'm done broadcasting. I've got a little ways to go. So hopefully we'll get to meet my new buddy, Sif Show, here in just a minute. Hopefully he'll figure out how to navigate the Spreaker chat. So hopefully, and I'll keep checking back on Reddit to see if he says anything else, or if those evil Redditors say anything, if they're actually going to boot the top. That would be worse than booting David Hasselhoff. How could they boot me? Well, I'm going for it. So as soon as this show's over, I'm posting. I'm going to see how far I can push them. And if the jailbait people, like I said, if they can make it 6 years, I should be able to make it 30 to 50 years. I would think before they finally have enough of me spamming their walls 3 to 4 times a week. That evil Chris Top and his Reddit spam. You know what spam is made of, don't you? Nobody knows what spam is. That's why they call it spam, because it's gross. You know who's totally made out of spam? There's an artist. There's a musical artist that's made from spam, and I'll tell you who it is. It's Lady... I'm just assuming that when she comes into the room, you can smell spam. And I'm talking about I'm talking about Lady Gaga. Okay, I need somebody got a towel? I need a towel. Sif Show, do you have a towel that I can borrow? That's just gross. I don't know. I haven't had corn in weeks. I don't know where that came from. I have no idea. Anyway, my eyes are all watering and everything. Holly says, my judging of Chris Top, very entertaining. One of the only shows I listen to from the time I enter to the time it ends. I like that there's news and also that he is genuine. I like that he interacts with the people who chat. And, that's what it's all about. I mean, if we're given this platform to interact, to talk with the people who are in the chat, who take time out of their lives to listen to the show, I mean, you're an idiot if you do a show anywhere and you're given that venue and you don't use it. So of course I use it. I use it. I love to broadcast first and foremost, but then again, I love hanging out with you guys. There's no way I'm ever going to ignore any of you. Now, sometimes the chat gets a little crazy. Sometimes I miss things, but that happens. I'm only human, even though I am Chris Top. Kiss says, true fact, when Chris Top pukes, he always shites himself at the same time. Not always, but it has happened on occasion. But that was usually that was back in my younger days, and that's another reason. That's another reason I don't drink. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't afford all the underwear, to be honest with you. Okay, let me ask you this question, and this is a serious question. All right, would you trust a skinny chef or a fat chef? And I'm not talking about like a health food chef. I'm talking about a real cook. So would you trust a skinny chef or would you trust a fat chef? Now, in New Zealand, there's some immigration officials. They say that Chef Albert is too fat. They say that his weight may impose undue demands on New Zealand's health services. So it's this one guy that's too fat. He's 286 pounds. And he weighed even more before he left the first time he came back. Evidently. I don't know how much more he weighed. But then he came back and he tried to renew his work visa. And even though he'd lost weight and got down to 286 pounds, the authorities in New Zealand rejected his application due to his significant risk. So maybe Reddit doesn't like me because I'm a significant risk. Maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe Big Brother is in charge of Reddit and they're watching me right now. But, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease. In other words, they don't want Fat Albert dying in New Zealand. They want him to go die somewhere else. He's a freaking chef. I mean, if he was a skinny dude, I wouldn't want to eat his food. If it's a fat guy and he's a good cook, if he's a fat guy, he's probably a good cook, right? It means he eats his own stuff. Right? Am I right? Of course I'm right. New Zealand's crazy. Oh, now I'm going to get banned from New Zealand. And I was planning on going there next week. And I'm going to get banned now from New Zealand. That's just freaking wonderful. Just freaking wonderful. Let's see here. I believe we have a new person in the chat. We've got Mr. Dan Fields in the chat. He says, hey, this is Sift Show. Sift, it's nice to see you. So, see, I was able to get one listener from Reddit before I got banned. And I'm not banned yet, I don't think. So we do have Dan in the show. Let's see. Let me see what's going on here. And everybody's just getting to know Dan because, it's new meat, right? Kiss says, I've been told you have kind of a funny show. We're not so sure yet, checking it out later. So I'm definitely going to check it out. And any Spreaker show that you do, and Spreaker is a great platform, Dan, and I know you said you haven't heard of it, but Spreaker also just teamed up with iHeartRadio. My application is still pending, so it's driving me kind of nuts. So if I get approved for iHeart, I'm going to look at Reddit, I'm going to say, screw you, Reddit. I'm on iHeartRadio. I don't need you, Reddit. I didn't even know who you were 2 days ago. So they've actually teamed up with iHeartRadio, and that's going to open a whole new can of worms. I mean, there's going to be millions of people that as a Spreaker broadcaster we will have access to. So that's pretty cool. So Dan, you might want to look into Spreaker. It's a lot of fun to use. It really is. Dan says, give his show a spin. I know I said I promise, but you might dig it. Holly says, would I trust a fat chef or a skinny chef? Skinny, why? Because I can trust that he won't eat the food that he could. Oh, that's another, that I haven't even looked at it like that, from that angle. So that's actually very smart. But I'm still going to go with the fat chef. Dan says he's no hard Redditor. So Dan, we may get banned together. All right, let's band together and get banned together. Sonia says, how do they practice safe sex in New Zealand? I don't know where this came from. They put on an X. They put an X on the sheep that kick. Oh. It was a joke. Okay, I got you. So it's silly. Everyone there just wants more listens. That's all. Let's see. Right on, checking it out. Sounds like a great platform, and it is. It really is a great platform. And Brent says he sent me a few more, or a lot more originals that I can play on the show. So I'll definitely get those downloaded and get those up on the next few broadcasts for sure. We're supposed to talk about some superhero stuff. Because there are... I'll tell you what, before I do that, in honor of Dan being here in the chat, we'll go ahead and do this. We're going to spread some Spreaker love. And my phone is going nuts, and I'm assuming it might be my Twitter. I don't know. But I'll check my Twitter. Because you can tweet me, even though I may be getting banned from Reddit very soon. You can still tweet with me. You can tumble with me. You can Facebook with me. All kinds of stuff. So I'm still out there, and I'm still very available for you, and my time is limited on Reddit. It really is, and I do apologize if you've fallen in love with me over the past 2 days on Reddit, and that's very possible. That's very, very possible, because I am Chris Top. We're going to spread the Spreaker love. Now, Dan, in case you don't know what that means, if you have a show here on Spreaker, and I'm sure that what you can do, Dan, in place, and this is what I normally tell people, just type the word show into the chat. And that's how you spread the Spreaker love, because all you have to do is just click on that person that typed the word show, and then you can follow them on Spreaker. You can check out their shows. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep listening to it, but if you do like it, then congratulations, you found something else that's cool. Now, since you don't have any shows on Spreaker yet, now what you could do, though, is take some of your other podcasts and you could upload them to the Spreaker platform. So I'll leave it up to you, Dan. You can either go ahead and give the link to your podcast, or I'll just let you type show into the chat. People can follow you here, and you can try out the Spreaker platform and see how it works for you. It's so much fun because it is interactive, and I'm not sure where you broadcast at, but it's my favorite platform ever. Not that I've really looked into too many others, but I felt like I found the best when I first started, so I'm good to go with it. So right now, my friends, we're going to spread the Spreaker love.
We're just here to spread that love all around. Spread it around. Spread it around.
Okay, so Dan says, gotcha, I'll post them to Spreaker. I'm on SoundCloud now. You know what, Dan? It's funny that you should mention SoundCloud, because whenever you do a Spreaker broadcast, it goes directly to SoundCloud. So you can stay on SoundCloud, just kill two birds with one stone, and you can broadcast on Spreaker, and then bam, it's up on SoundCloud, and you're done. It's done. You can broadcast live on here, and you can interact with everybody, and then you still got your SoundCloud going on, and maybe we can get banned from Reddit together. Hey, and, okay, so I've got a couple other buddies in the chat. We've got Yo-Yo Dino in the chat, and we have Rick from Taking Back America in the chat. And, guys, we have a theme going on in the show today. Reddit I think has threatened to ban me from their site. Now, you know how when you finish a Spreaker show, you're given the option at the end of the show to post it on Reddit. Well, I've been doing that, and I got a warning from Reddit the other day, or I guess yesterday. I got a warning, and basically, let me just go back and reread it for those of you that just tuned into the show. Okay, I got to find it again. I got to find it. See, how do people navigate Reddit? It's impossible. This is ridiculous. I'm lost. I'm so lost on Reddit. See, that's another reason Reddit's not going to work for me, because I can't figure it out. But okay, hang on. I'm trying to find the original comment that hacked me off. Okay, here it is. So I've been posting my stuff to Reddit because, well, Spreaker gives us that option. And this is from Handicapper General. And I gave him the suggestion. I said, you should really go with Handy Capable. Just because that's more politically correct. And whether or not he's going to listen to me, I don't know. And see, and the first comment I got on Reddit was complimenting bot. It wasn't even a real freaking person. See, there's such losers over at Reddit, they have to have bots that go around and leave comments on people's pages. I can get my own comments, thank you very much, because I'm Chris Top, bitch. Okay, and this is what Handy Capable said. He or she said, as with most of Reddit, we don't mind if you do a little self-promotion, but keep it to a minimum. Try to also contribute to the community and very rarely make a promo post about your show. And then my thing was, okay, so posting my original content on Reddit isn't good enough for you? It's not contributing to your community? See, I just don't understand that. And I can go back and I can read my post again. This is for those of you that just joined in. I'm getting kind of fired up about it. I really am. And it's more involved in this too. And I'll tell you what I said in just a minute. Okay, what my response was, maybe Reddit is not for me. Was recently notified by Handy Capable that I should not post my original podcast links to the site. I was told to contribute to the community. My podcast links do not contribute to the community. I suppose I could find other podcast links and post those. And this is going to make a great topic for my next broadcast. No worries, though, because I would never post the link. Very sarcastic. Chris Top. And then I got another long thing. And then I met my good buddy Sif Show, who's in the chat. It's Dan. He says, so what's the link to your podcast? I said, shh, I can't tell you, but I'm broadcasting right now. In parentheses, Spreaker.com, the Chris Top program. So now he's in the chat. So some good did come out of Reddit. I have to admit, some good did come out of Reddit. And, guys, you missed the spreading of the Spreaker love. So if you would like to go ahead and post show in the chat, feel free to do that. And guys, make sure you give Taking Back America a follow and also Dino a follow as well. Dan says, Chris, it's complicated. You're posting in a subreddit that's more for how to podcast, the equipment people use, etc. See, so I'm so confused. I'm so confused with Reddit. I really am. Now, see, I would have let all that slide, but I didn't know what Reddit was until a couple of days ago. And then I realized, I did some research today, and I realized they had been around since 2006. Well, you know, they had some Redditors on there, and this was a very popular search on Reddit. I think it was the number 1 or number 2 search on Reddit. You'll never guess what it is. The number 1 or number 2 search on Reddit for 6 years was jailbait. People were posting provocative pictures of preteens, and they were getting away with it. They got away with it for 6 freaking years. Chris Top gets on Reddit for 2 days, and he gets a slap on the wrist. So if the child porn people can get away with it for 6 years, I should be able to get away with it for 50 or 60 years. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. That's why I'm mad at Reddit. So my goal now is to see how quickly I can get banned. You know, they talk about how they're all about free speech. They'll let these creeps post for 6 years, but they're going to kick me off how quickly? How quickly are they going to kick me away from Reddit? Oh, I understand enough about it, just enough to get pissed off. Anyway, okay, let's move on, because I want to talk about superhero stuff. That was the main show tonight, and then I got hacked off at Reddit. Those evil people at Reddit. So, what's your favorite superhero movie that's out? Well, I've got a list of a few that I think are noteworthy, and there may be a few that I might leave out on purpose, just so you guys can bring them up. And there's one in particular, and my wallet actually has, and I have a very cool wallet. Sarah actually gave this to me, and it's a very adult, grown-up wallet, and it's got a certain shield on the front of it, and that's the only hint I'm going to give you. I left this movie out, but it is one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite superhero movies. But what do you guys think about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I mean, should that be on the list? Now, the first run of the film franchise, it happened in the early 90s. It's recently been rebooted. And they're looking, I think, at release. Is it this year? Yeah. It's slated for release in 2004, sometime this year. Now, originally, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they made $202 million at the international box office, and I think that was pretty good back in the 90s. And I remember going to see the movie, and I graduated in '89, so I was still pretty young at heart. So I did go see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I feel like they deserve to be on the list. Now, you can agree or disagree, whatever you want to. This is my show. If I want to talk about who is your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? That's what I want to know. And Holly guessed, let's see. Let's see what's going on in the chat. So if you guys want to talk about superheroes, then you're in the right chat, because that's what we're going to talk about the rest of the time, unless somebody else talks to me on Reddit. Then we'll kind of go from there. So okay, let me scroll down. See, they make this so complicated. I wish it was easier. Let's see. Captain America and Iron Man. See, my wallet does have Captain America on there. And I left Captain America out just because I love Captain America. I love what he stands for, and I think he's just cool. And I love the fact that he was just this little dorky, geeky guy, and then he gets injected with this really cool serum, and then he becomes all good-looking and strong. I'm still looking for that serum, and when I find it, you better watch out. You better watch out, my arch nemesis Reddit, because I will be after you. Once I find that Captain America serum, your life is over. It's done. Now, what about The Incredibles? Now, it's not based on Marvel. It's not based on DC or anything like that. But I feel like they needed some kind of a shout-out. And they were very popular at the box office. I would say just for a younger audience, but I think an older audience too. And see, these are the movies that make a lot of money, anything that's PG-13 or under, because I think Hollywood's starting to figure out that the rated R movies don't make as much. You release a PG-13 or a PG or a G movie, that's something the whole family can go see. So instead of 1 or 2 people paying those outrageous prices, then you've got 3, 4, 5 people paying those outrageous prices to see a movie that they can take their whole family to see. And it's probably cheaper, if you think about it, to take the whole family maybe to a matinee as opposed to getting a babysitter, especially if you have a larger family. So just food for thought. Now, it pulled in $631 million internationally in 2004. So they definitely deserved a mention. I'll tell you who's not going to get a mention on here, on my list. Daredevil. Daredevil sucked. But something good did come out of Daredevil. And I'll tell you what that was. That was Elektra. Elektra was smoking. She's like every dork's dream. She really is. What's her name? Jennifer Garner? That played Elektra? Oh, man. Man, she's hot. Dan says he's headed out. He says he's glad to have been here. And Dan, it was very nice to meet you. And I hope you do make it back to the show sometime sooner or later. And I'll definitely check yours out after the program. Maybe you should post a link to your show on my Facebook page just in case I'm banned from Reddit before I'm able to check it. I'm just saying. Holly says, I think The Incredibles were heroes. Sonia says, kids want to watch movies over and over and over again. Yeah, so I mean, when you take the kids out to see a movie and they like it, then then they're all about it. They're all about going back and seeing it again. Now, I don't know if you can afford that as a parent to take your kids to the same movie over and over again, but it's definitely worth at least renting or buying it for them. So I mean, you've definitely got a DVD sale because hey, you've got an instant babysitter, and I'm not promoting that. I don't think you should use movies or television as babysitters for kids. But sometimes, every once in a while, you've got to have my me time. And if it helps, it helps. Taking Back America says, gotta go. It's time for me to have a finely rolled burrito by some very talented illegal Mexicans and then hitting the hay. I will check out the show on the podcast. Take it easy, Chris. Take care, y'all. And it was very good to see you, Rick. Thank you very much for stopping by. Okay, now I've got the Incredible Hulk on the list, and I'm not talking about the one that looked like Shrek. I'm talking about the latest one that came out, not the one that was in the Avengers. Well, the one that was in the Avengers was really cool too, but the one before that one with Edward Norton in it, that was a good movie. That was a kick-ass movie. Give me another one of those Hulks. Don't give me another Shrek Hulk. Don't ever do that again. I would much rather see Lou Ferrigno in green paint than Shrek as the Incredible Hulk. So let's keep it like we did right before the Avengers, because that was really cool. Now, what about Thor? I didn't really... I liked Thor. I do. I like Thor. But I guess for me, it sort of takes away if he's a god. I mean, how are you going to bring a god and put him up against other superheroes? The god should win every time because he's a freaking god. He should be able to smack Iron Man all over the place. The Incredible Hulk, or even he should be able to kick Superman's ass because he's a god. But luckily, he's Marvel and Superman's DC, so they probably won't meet. Now, Thor was first created by Marvel Comics in 1962. Now, he became a film in 2011. And see, the guys think he's cool. And the girls checked it out because, well, it's Chris Hemsworth. Now, the film took in $449 million internationally. And there's going to be another Thor. Oh, I said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were coming out this year, but they're coming out in 2014. It's 2013. See, I'm a year ahead of myself. Now, Thor is coming out this year. And the name of the movie is The Dark World. And that's going to come out in November. So we can look for the next Thor in November. And I know they're working on another Captain America, and I'm really excited about that one. That one's actually coming out next year, and that is 2014. See, I turn 43, and then automatically I just lose track of the years. Like, for me, it's not, hey, what time is it? It's not what day is it? What month is it? It's what year is it? That's how out of sync I am with everything. Okay, now I have a very important question to ask you. Would the X-Men be anywhere close to cool at all if Wolverine was not a part of the X-Men? I think that's a legitimate question. How many of you go to watch the X-Men just so you can see Wolverine be all cool and kick some ass? I've got my hand raised. I mean, Hugh Jackman is a very cool Wolverine. Now, the X-Men franchise, it began in 2000. Of course, it had Hugh Jackman in it. Now, there's an 8th film that's starring Jennifer Lawrence. It's due to be released in 2014. Now, the 3rd X-Men film, and that was X-Men The Last Stand, was the most commercially successful movie. You know, and it's funny because this isn't the first time I've seen this. A lot of these Marvel movies, the 3rd ones will do better than the 1st or the 2nd one. Isn't that weird? Maybe it takes people a while, some people, to come around. Maybe they see it on video or they see it on DVD, and then they get hooked on it that way, and then they want to go see the 3rd one. I don't know. But it was the most commercially successful movie. It took in $459 million, and that's internationally. And that was the 3rd X-Men. And, you know, it's funny that the 3rd ones tend to make more because I really like the first ones in most situations. Now, in the situation of Batman, I like the 2nd one better. Because we have the Joker. Now, Batman, though, was first created. He's been around since 1939. Now, it became a 15-part film series in 1943. And we're just going to skip over Adam West. Because when I think about Adam West and being Batman, one of the scenes from the movie that just stands out in my mind, and maybe you remember this, maybe your mind has put a cloud over it. I don't know. But Batman was in the ocean, and Robin happened to be flying overhead in the Batcopter. And I guess Robin automatically knew how to fly a helicopter. These superheroes usually do. So he happened to be flying overhead in the Batcopter. And he wanted to get Batman out of the ocean. So he let down this wooden ladder. You know, like the wooden ladders with the strings. He drops that out of the Batcopter. You'd think Batman would have a little something more high-tech than that. But again, this was in the 60s. So I guess that was the best Batman could do at that point. So he throws down the ladder, and Batman starts to climb up the ladder out of the ocean. And as he's climbing out of the ocean, and remember, Batman at that time didn't have like the suit of armor that he has today. He basically had the spandex. So as he's being pulled out of the water, he's got this giant rubber shark that's attached to his leg. And this is why I was going to skip over Adam West, and I swear I'm going to give him more time than the other ones. But he's got this giant rubber shark, and it obviously looks rubber. And you know what he says? Instead of saying, "Oh shit, I've got a shark on my leg," that's what most people would say. But he looks up at Robin in the Batcopter and he says, "Robin, quick, throw me down the bat shark repellent." And that's kind of how he said it. I kind of went into William Shatner a little bit. So they happen to have, and I guess Batman didn't keep it in his utility belt, because it was probably pretty uncommon to be face-to-face with a shark. But they did develop this, I'm assuming, in the Bat Cave. So Robin throws down the bat shark repellent. It's an aerosol can, because I guess aerosol was all the rave in the 60s. So Batman shakes it up, and then he sprays the shark, this massive man-eating shark. He sprays it with the bat shark repellent, and the shark miraculously falls off of his leg back into the ocean. Now, I don't know how concerned they were about being eco-friendly in the 60s. So that could have been a problem, because had Batman blinded the shark, then he could get in a lot of trouble today. He can kill all the bad guys he wants, but if you blind a shark, you're going to jail, Batman. Just saying. So he sprays the shark. The shark falls into the ocean, and everything's cool. Batman's not bleeding. There's no shark bite scars on his leg or anything like that. And remember, he didn't have the the armor that he has in the new films. So anyway, I don't know if I should mention that particular phase of Batman. Now, in 1943, there was a film franchise. It was based on the popular superhero. Now, in 1989, Tim Burton directed the first two titles, Batman and Batman Returns. And, those are really the only two that I think deserve mentioning. Because I loved Michael Keaton in Batman. I did. And he was more like this. He was more like, I'm Batman. And that was sort of Michael Keaton's play on it. And then you've got the new Dark Knight series, and it sort of turned into I'm Batman, which is okay because it worked too. And again, the third installment, the latest installment of Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, was the most popular one. It took in, are you ready for this? $1.1 billion, that's with a B, $1.1 billion in international box office sales. Freaking Batman. So I guess I'm Batman, I guess that works. Because you can't understand a damn thing he says. But it works, because the suit's cool. And the bad guys are cool as well. Let's see. So PS Infinity says Adam West. I don't know if PS likes Adam West or not. And they're talking about ugly babies in the chat. So, I mean, if you're not in the chat, then you're really missing half of the fun, I guess. Because sometimes the chat, it develops a life of its own. And I really don't know how to respond to a lot of that. So I'm just going to overlook it and move on with the show. Now, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to talk about some other superhero movies. And I might have... Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about Pop-Tart sandwiches. Now, it's not just a Pop-Tart sandwich, but it's Pop-Tarts and ice cream. So it's like it's like a breakfast dessert. Yeah. Now, are you a morning person or are you a night owl? Well, we're going to talk about how if you're a night owl, you could be a psychopath. Yeah, so join the club. And then as the post show edition, I may bring up fat shaming. And if you don't know what fat shaming is, well, then you're going to have to stick around, and we'll discuss that as well. You're absolutely, positively in the right place. This is the Chris Top program. We'll be back.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
Mr. Pop.
Take it from the top.
Two epic movies collide.
Go ahead, Hermione. Make my day.
A sissy wand or a 44 Magnum?
Are you a wizard? Man's got to do something for a living these days. Dying ain't much of a living, boy.
Dirty Harry Potter has made his decision.
You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, Voldemort?
Some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck. Some nights I call it a draw. Some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they'd just fall off. But I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Oh,
What do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know anymore.
Believe
bed tonight. She stops my bones from wondering just who I am, who I am, who I am. Well, who am I? No. Whoa.
I sold my soul for this. Wash my hands of that for this. I miss my mom and dad for this.
No. When I see stars, when I see stars, that's all they are. And when I hear songs, they sound like this one. So come on.
She called love. When I look into my nephew's eyes, man, you wouldn't believe the most amazing things they can come from some terrible lies.
Distance. It's the best way to listen. It's the best to keep our distance.
Okay, I've been holding off on talking about this just because I wanted to wait for him to come into the chat. I wanted to make sure he was here so he heard this. But I guess it was a week ago today. Guy, it's our anniversary. In case you didn't, maybe that's why he decided to come tonight. I don't know. Maybe because it's our anniversary. But Guy, Shay, and I have actually made up. We're not fighting with each other, and that's a good thing because that stuff it really stresses me out too much. So when he came into the chat, I kind of like just squinted a little bit. I was like, oh God, what's he gonna say? My ass got really really tight. It's like I'm on a roller coaster ride. It's like when you're going, it's like ching, 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 ching. You're going up and you know what's going to happen. It's like you're going to get to the top and then it's just going to go straight down. And that's when your ass gets really, really tight. And maybe it's just because it's Guy that it does that. I don't know. But he came in and he said, listening in Chris's show sounds good. I even let 2 duct-taped hostages out of the closet because of you making me laugh today. Thanks. And my first response was, phew. Okay, now I can get on with the program. Because you don't want to get Guy on your bad side. He says, I'm being as good as much as I can. My handlers are standing next to me with baseball bats, and I did recommend that they should probably use guns. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully, Guy and I will continue a very long-lasting and loving relationship.
Well, Chris Top, you just been punked on the top of the hour radio show. You just been punked. Like I said, what? You need security? You need security guards? What? You need to talk about all those people in the chat room? You need to say all their freaking names? You need to talk about them? Tell them who they are? Come on, Chris, get reality. It gets boring after a while. Don't you realize you need to pump it up? And it's, well, you know what? I guess you are a dork. Just like you say, dorks Be proud. Be a dork and be proud, right? As you always say. Well, you know what? That's just the way it is. Yep, that's just the way it is. I tell you, that's just the way it is, Chris. But you've just been punked. Santa, you've been punked. And Nicole, you've been punked. But, you know what? Keep up the good work, guys. Because more of you are going to just be punked. You better watch out because you never know when you're going to be punked. Punk it up. Punk it down. Keep it real, guys. But you know what? You've just been punked on the Top of the Hour radio show, hosted by the Bright Eyes Top of the Hour radio episode, toasted to you by the Bright Eyes radio show, coming to you from Hamilton, Ontario. Keep up the good work. You've just been punked.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
Mr. Pop.
Take it from the top. Take it from the top.
Dorks of the world unite.
I was thinking it's time for a new promo. I need somebody really important within the walls of Spreaker. Someone who stands out. Maybe has a little pull. Oh, hey, Don.
You're listening to the King of All Dorks, broadcasting from his lavish studio apartment in Clarksville, Tennessee, with an ocean view. This is Don Landworth. Join us on the Chris Top program in the chat on Spreaker.com.
Oh, that was great, Don. But do you have any ideas on who I could get from Spreaker to help me do a promo? Somebody really important.
This is Donald Landworth, the free COO.
Hey, Don, are you okay?
Join me and my friends in the chat on the Chris Top program on Spreaker.com.
The Chris Top program burns more calories than setting a fat kid on fire.
Okay, I feel like I need to give Holly a title because she's our resident music critic. So it's Holly the music critic, and we'll just use that until I come up with something better. And she's talking about the cover I just played by Jake Coco and Friends. She says, wow, that cover was amazing. All the voices were in unison and really blended into one sound of harmony, kind of like me and Guy Shea. All the soloists were fantastic. I love the girl at the beginning. That one guy soloist sounded like he might have had swagger. You know, I've been accused on many occasions of having swagger myself. Still haven't found out what that is. But I do sport the occasional swagger. She says, very good song choice and great passion. And again, our resident song critic, Holly, uses the word passion, so must be good. Now, let's see what's going on. Okay, I think I'm caught up in the chat. Just want to make sure because I don't like leaving people out. Now, the theme of the show today is how much Reddit sucks. So I'm going to refresh my Reddit page, and no more post as of yet. So I'll probably get another one as soon as I'm done with the show because I'm going to post yet another episode of the Chris Top program. And you know, my post Reddit or not to Reddit, am I wrong for posting links to my original podcast? It's actually gotten 3 upvotes. So, I mean, that's the most response I've ever gotten from Reddit. Now, granted, one of those votes is mine, but it means that there are 2 other people in the Reddit world that feel the same way I do. You know, so at least there are 2 dorks on Reddit. And that makes me feel pretty good. So, all right, now we're back to talking about superheroes. Okay, we can hang off on that for... See, this was going to be a superhero-themed show, and then I was going to go back and forth and talk about some other stuff. But then it turned it into an I Hate Reddit thing. And you can buy your I Hate Reddit t-shirt from the Chris Top program as soon as I make them and come up with a price. It'll be outrageous because I'm all about making money. I don't like to make stuff for free. That's why the Chris Top program t-shirts are so much. I didn't want to use a cheap t-shirt. I didn't want you to buy a t-shirt from me for $5 and then within a week you're using it to clean your car with. That's not what I wanted. I wanted something that you would have for a long time. That's why they were $25 because they weren't cheap for me. I didn't really make any money off of them. Well, I made a little bit, okay? Because I'm going to make money. But still, I wanted you to have a good t-shirt. So let's talk about something important. Let's talk about Pop-Tart ice cream sandwiches. I think I did this as a kid growing up. But I had to do it by myself. See, today kids can be lazier. See, I wanted to be lazy. Why did I have to make my own Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich? Why didn't somebody come out with that, like 20 years ago? Okay, well, I'm older than that. See, that would have put me at 23, but still, I would eat one today, too. So, the rumors are true. Carl Jr.'s, they've developed the Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich. And I'm sure that took a lot of work. Somebody at Carl Jr.'s was like, okay, I've got this brilliant idea. We're going to open a package of Pop-Tarts. Okay, now when you open the package, they automatically come apart. There's 2 of them in there. So this is what we're going to do, and I want you to listen very closely. We're going to open the package, and whatever you do, don't break the Pop-Tart. All right, very carefully remove the Pop-Tart from the package. Whatever you do, don't eat the corner. Don't take a nibble. Just take it out of the package, and you're going to place them frosting side down. That's very important because the frosting side needs to be on the outside. It makes it more pleasing to the eyes. Doesn't really make a difference in the taste, but it does. It makes it a little more pleasing to look at. Now then, you're going to take out the ice cream, and it can be any variety of flavors. It could be chocolate or vanilla, or it could be Rocky Road, or whatever kind of ice cream you want to put on it. And you're going to take 1 scoop, and you're going to place it on top of one of the Pop-Tarts. Then you're going to take the other Pop-Tart, you're going to place it on top of the ice cream that's on top of the other Pop-Tart. And there you have it. We have the Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Obviously, you could easily make this yourself. You could even make it with those new peanut butter Pop-Tarts. And maybe some chocolate ice cream. Oh. But why do you even want to bother with that? Because you can go to Carl's, and for $1.49 at the drive-thru, that's how convenient it is. And they're calling it a breakfast dessert item. I don't know that anybody eats breakfast dessert. To my knowledge. They may be starting a new trend. And things have to start somewhere. Now, it sounds quite decadent. But, we talked about quite a few unhealthy foods yesterday. This wouldn't even have popped up anywhere on the chart. Because you're only looking at about 320 calories. But, of course, if you go to Carl Jr.'s, you can get your ice cream or your Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich, and then if you want more calories, then you can always add an order of fries to that. And that would definitely fix that problem. For sure. See, I want a Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich now. I really do. Okay, so Iron Man. And I had to mention Iron Man. And guess which film made the most money? Was it the first one? Was it the second one? Or was it the third one? Now, we've talked about this throughout the show, so you should get this right first guess. It was the third one. And my favorite one out of the 3 was the first one. But yet, the third one made the most money. $1.2 billion. And I have a question to ask you. Well, I have more of a statement. I don't think Iron Man was a very cool Avenger at all. Until Robert Downey Jr. came along and started playing Iron Man. Then he made him cool as hell. And I know I say hell funny. I know I get excited, and I don't know why I say it like that. And I make fun of myself. But he made it really cool. And Iron Man was just kind of there before. It's like, okay, it's the guy in the iron suit, Tony Stark, yay, it's Iron Man, whatever. Captain America was like my favorite. And really, Captain America still kind of is. But I mean, when you get Robert Downey Jr. involved, I mean, he totally steals the show. He really does. And I don't know that it would have been nearly as successful with any other actor. And of course, I say that, not knowing, but he was perfect. And you got to love his story too. I mean, he started out as a great actor. I loved him in Chaplin. After that, his career went totally downhill because he got involved in drugs and things. And then all of a sudden he came back. And boy, did he come back. I mean, it's an inspirational story. And I like stuff like that. And now he's Iron Man. And he's cooler than he ever was. So, I think he totally made Iron Man cool, one of the cooler Avengers. And speaking of the Avengers, you've got the Avengers. They actually started in the 60s. It was a 1960s comic book, Marvel. And the original Avengers had superheroes like Iron Man, Ant-Man. And I know Ant-Man and the Wasp haven't made the cut yet, but they may be in the movie eventually. You never know. You've got Thor, the Hulk, and then other ones too. You got the black guy, the hot chick, and the guy that shoots arrows. They're in the movie as well, and that's just how I remember them. Let's see. Josh Whedon, he actually did the Avengers, and there's only been one Avengers so far, and I'm hoping there's going to be more. And if it follows suit, then the third Avengers installment will make the most money. But the first one, so if the third one does better than the first one, they're doing okay. Because the first one, worldwide, made $1.5 billion. The Avengers. Wow. A lot of money. But it was great, wasn't it? Lots of stuff blowing up and lots of cool superheroes. I mean, you can't beat it, really. Now, probably my most favorite superhero of all time. He came around long after Superman, long after Batman, Spider-Man. And I think I like Spider-Man just because he's the dorky guy, and then he gets bit by a radioactive spider. All of a sudden, he's cool. It's like he has this alter ego. He puts on the mask, and he's just super cool Spider-Man is what he is. He came out in the 60s. There's a comic book series, Spider-Man. Very, very commercially successful. Now, there was a television series that came out in 1978. Horrible. I mean, like when he would climb up walls, you could tell that it was just a fake wall they laid on the pavement, and the guy had to like crawl on the side of the wall. It was really bad. And I don't even know how to describe when he was shooting webs. It looked just terrible. But I watched it anyway because I love Spider-Man. So when the 2002 movie came out with Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, they had the famous upside-down kiss scene in it. Well, I remember in 2002, I had my computer, and I had dial-up. And I found the trailer for the movie. And for me to download the trailer, it took like 2 hours for me to download this. Was it a 3-minute trailer, I guess? I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. But it took me 2 hours to download it. I bet I downloaded it several times, or it was probably at least 5 or 6 times. Just because I was so hyped up about seeing this movie, because I grew up reading the comic books. I watched the old 60s cartoon, and I couldn't get enough of Spider-Man, so I couldn't wait for Hollywood to make Spider-Man real. So the trailer, I mean, I kept running in my office and just checking the download. Okay, I've got 30 seconds. Oh man, this is so cool. I can't wait. 8 months. Okay, 3 months, just 2 more months, 2 weeks. I get to go see Spider-Man. So I got off work late one night, and it was the opening night of Spider-Man, and I had 3 buddies with me. We drove to the movie theater. It was opening night. We get there a little bit late, and I'm thinking, there's no way we're going to get in. This isn't going to happen. So we get there. There's 4 of us. They had 4 tickets left. Okay. Was my destiny to see Spider-Man. So we walk into the auditorium. It's packed. You know, we're hoping maybe somebody got up and went to the bathroom. You know, just so we can steal their seats. But we looked at the very front row. There were 4 seats right there, the very front middle. So guess where we sat? But it was okay because I got to see Spider-Man the opening night. I had a horrible, horrible neck ache by the time the movie was over. But oh man, was it good. And it was just as good too the 3 or 4 other times that I saw it after that. I couldn't wait to see it. I hadn't looked forward to a movie as much as I looked forward to that one. I remember Spider-Man in 2002. I remember Indiana Jones, going to see that. I remember going to see Star Wars. And I think that's about it. So, I mean, those movies really, really... I mean, I have other movies that I love, but I just don't remember going to stand in line and going to see movies that vividly, unless it's Spider-Man or Indiana Jones or Star Wars. And maybe that makes me a dork. I don't know. But if it does, that's okay. Because that's kind of what the show's about, right? Let's see. We've got... Holly says, I saw Avengers in IMAX. You know, I saw Spider-Man in IMAX, believe it or not. And another good movie I saw in IMAX was I saw... oh, crap. I just forgot the name. And I just said it was a good movie. Oh, The Matrix. Lawrence Fishburne, I saw every pore in his face, and he has a lot of pores. And you can see it on his giant IMAX head if you ever get the opportunity to catch the Matrix. But it was pretty kick-ass, too. I can't remember which one it was, though. I don't know if it was like it was either the first one or the third one that I saw. And the first one was great, I thought. And I enjoyed the vampires things that were in... Were those in the second one? Okay, so it was the first or the second one that I saw. Third one I just absolutely did not like. Did not like it. I don't know. It kind of let me down. But I thought it was cool in the first one. Neo, like, he flew, and I was like, I couldn't wait for the second one to see him fly around the place. Like, all over the place. We got Chaz in the chat. Chaz, it's good to see you. Says, have no fear, Chaz is here. So, welcome to the home of the dorks. It's good to see you, Chaz, as always. So, Spider-Man, my all-time favorite, followed, of course, by Captain America. And then after that, you know, Batman, Superman, they're kind of neck and neck. And speaking of Superman, so who came first? And I'll ask you guys this question, and I'll give you some time to think about it. Who came first, Superman or Batman? Now, while you're thinking on that, we're going to play... Remember, I said Batman came out in 1939. So who came first, Superman or Batman? And while you're taking time to think about that, we're going to play the Dork National Anthem. So if you're a dork, go ahead and stand to your feet. Place your hand over your heart. And I want you to say this. I want you to say, I'm a dork. I'm proud. And I'm hip, because this is the Wabba song, as written by my good buddy Belgium Tim, and we're going to follow that up with the Wabba rap by Big N.
Working on being awesome every day. I'm working on being awesome every day. I'm working on being awesome every day. I'm not really awesome to this day, but I'm working on being awesome every day. I'm not awesome today, but I'll be one day.
Yeah, Big N in the building, representing the dorks. Dorks of the world unite, y'all. Yeah. Hey there, everybody, I got something to say. The sky ride over there is Wubba every single day. Okay, what is Wubba?
It gets so creepy cold thing.
No, dude, it's just a little dog singing. Well, W is working, O is on it, B is being, and A is for awesome, and that's the dog saying. I'm already awesome, but that's okay, cause Mr. Chris Top is too, but he just doesn't know it. And so are all of you from here on to the far. And just so you know, life is good and I'm gone.
Thank you for calling the Attention Deficit Hyper Disorder Hotline. If you have ADHD, please press 1. So you do have ADHD, is this correct? Please press 1. Now that we know it is only necessary to make your selection. It has been established you do have ADHD. Please. Okay, dude, seriously, if you want help, you're gonna have to stop playing with the key. Hey, look, there's a shiny ball with bells on it. If this call was helpful to you, please do nothing. Thank you for calling the Attention Deficit Hyper Disorder Hotline.
Chris Top. Never awesome, but always Wubba.
Okay, I've got some either very good guessers in the chat or some very good Googlers. Holly said that she thought Superman may have come out first. She wasn't sure. And then Chaz said, and he was more specific, he said that Superman came out a year before Batman did. Isn't it weird? Because Chaz is right. Isn't it weird how they would release Superman, who can do pretty much anything? I mean, he can fly. He's invincible. I don't know that he started out that way. But then they released Batman a year later, who's just a normal guy. He just has a lot of money, and he's able to get all these cool gadgets. So is Batman kind of like James Bond, except he's got a utility belt? And that's one of the questions that I asked on my Facebook page. Just food for thought. But anyway, back to Superman. So Superman came out in 1938. Now, he first appeared in a DC comic. Probably, and this is arguably, the best-known superhero in the world. He's had books, films, TV series, video games, albums. And on an earlier show, I talked about how I won one of the albums. And there are even athletes that are named after him. Now, the first of 5 Superman films was made in 1978. And, of course, you know that starred Christopher Reeve. It had Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman in the first 1978. And, you know, I take it back. I do remember going to see Superman as well. It was one of those films that I thoroughly enjoyed as a 7-year-old boy, and it made me. It did what any good film's going to do to a kid. It makes you want to go fly. Of course, I wasn't stupid enough to try it, but I did go home and don the cape. And after Star Wars, I went home and I made believe I was a Jedi, and that's just what good movies do. And the latest Superman, I came home and I put on my cape again, and this time I did jump off the couch, and I hurt my back. And I should have done that when I was younger, because I probably wouldn't have hurt myself. Because when I was younger, I could have jumped out of trees and stuff. But now I can't even jump off the couch without hurting myself. So the Man of Steel was recently released. And the funny thing about the movie, I'm not really given anything, not anything important, because I wouldn't do that. But not one time did they mention the word Superman in the film. I thought that was kind of cool. Now, the 2006 film, Superman Returns, people didn't really like it that much, but it still made almost 400 million internationally. Now, The Man of Steel has already made this is probably pretty old information I've got here. I don't know how much it's made, but it's made a crap ton. And they're saying that it could be the biggest blockbuster of the year. And that's Man of Steel. And that's really all that I have to talk about as far as the superhero movies go. Did I leave out one of your favorite superheroes? Well, what you can do is you can mention your favorite superhero, maybe put up a link, or just type it in my Facebook chat, and I will make it up to you. On my next show, I will definitely talk about your favorite superhero, and I don't care who it is. It could be something totally ridiculous, and I'll give you my thoughts on it, good or bad. See, I don't have to promise you if it's going to be good or bad. I just have to promise you that I'm going to mention it. And I'm still a member of Reddit. I haven't been booted as of yet. So I'm anxious to see how that's going to go once I finish this show up. And I post yet another episode on Reddit. So we'll see how that goes. Chaz says, I know my comics. And okay, Sarah. Now, how do you, is it anime or is that, did I say that right? Okay. So Sarah says she's an anime girl. And see, I never got into that. I mean, well, there was, okay, would this count as anime? Because when I was growing up, there was I don't know what the name was, but there was this show that I used to watch on TV, and it was all these little robots that were cool, and then they joined together to form one big Voltron. It was Voltron, wasn't it? So that's anime? Okay, so I guess I kind of like anime. Kind of, sort of. So I'm an anime fan thanks to Voltron, but I haven't seen that. I don't even know how I remember that name, to be honest with you, because it's been a long, long time. Is Catwoman a superhero? I mean, she's not really good and she's not really bad. So, I mean, would you consider her a good girl or a bad girl?
Is she dead or alive?
Is she dead or alive?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure she's probably been killed off in a few comic books.
I'm just saying.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you could probably find her alive in some and then dead in some other ones. But I mean, in the Batman movie, in the Tim Burton movie, she actually died, I think. Or, well, they lead you to believe that she may have died. But like you said, she has 9 lives. So, I mean, I guess, I don't think she has any superhero powers, though. She's just kind of hot.
Is that a superpower?
And she's got, that can be a superpower. I mean, a lot of girls use that all the time. I don't know that Al Capone, Guy Shea, would count. But feel free to post that on my Facebook page, and we'll just go from there. I did like, my favorite Al Capone was in the movie The Untouchables with Kevin Costner and Sean Connery. I really enjoyed that movie. My favorite scene in that movie was when, and I think I talked about this just the other day, was when Sean Connery was about to interrogate this one guy, and then he had this dead guy outside, and he picked him up and says, "Or if you don't talk, I'm going to," and I can't do Sean Connery, but he said, "If you don't talk, I'm going to blow your head off." And of course the guy didn't talk because he was dead, so he shoots him, and then he goes in and sees the other guy and says, "All right, look, you better talk." So the guy just like spills everything. So that was pretty cool. Now see, now you guys are just being weird because Chaz is bringing up John Dillinger. Now, let's go ahead and talk about one more thing, then we'll probably wrap the show up. We've already talked about the Fat Chef. We've talked about superheroes, the Pop-Tart sandwich. Okay. Let's talk. Okay, we're going to... I can't give this away, but I'd mentioned something earlier, and if you're a regular listener, you know I'm going to get to it. So I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. But let's talk about fat shaming. All right, now, if you're trying to do some good by calling your friend fat, then you may be doing more harm. Because, all right, okay, let me just start here. People who think humiliating other people about their weight, if you think it's going to motivate them to lose weight, it's not. Now, there's new research that's coming out of Florida. And again, I don't think this is something that we had to research, to be honest. I think this is probably common sense. I mean, you put all this money into this crap, and I don't get it. I mean, it's just common sense. But if that's what it takes, I guess that's what it takes. And you can look at it this way, too. You'd be like, all right, fatty fat, so why don't you grow some balls and man up? All right? If you weren't fat, I wouldn't call you fat, so why don't you lose a few pounds? Well, I mean, that's going to be counterproductive because what that's going to do is it's going to stress the guy out or the girl. And what's the first thing you do when you stress out, especially when you're already fat? You're going to eat more. You're going to eat more stuff. You're going to go buy the cheese and the tortillas. Then you're going to finish that off all by yourself. Then you're going to call up Papa John's. You're going to be like, okay, send me a pizza because somebody called me fat today. So I need a large. I need one of those extra large pizzas that you got with extra pepperonis. All right, can you put ice cream on it? Is there any way you can put chocolate chip ice cream on it and maybe some fudge because I'm really, really upset. And can the delivery... I'm going to leave the door unlocked because I'm too fat to get off my couch. So if the delivery man could just bring it in and hand it to me. If he's got an extra 20 minutes, could he just feed it to me, slice by slice, because I'm too fat to actually lift my hands. And it's just because my friends all call me fat. That's why I'm this fat. I'll tip him, but he's going to have to get the money out of my pocket. Because my hands are too fat to fit into my pocket. So if he could just he may have to actually cut my pocket open to get out my wallet. Because my pants are too tight to actually remove the wallet. Okay, he's going to have to turn me over first. So maybe you should send maybe 3 or 4 pizza guys to my apartment to turn me over and then cut my wallet out of the back of my pants, and he can give himself a good tip. So that's probably how that's going to go down. And if you're calling your friends fat, then, well, it's all your fault because they have to go through this. I do not, nor will I ever take any of you for granted, because there are a million other things you could be doing. But you chose to listen to me. Makes me feel pretty damn good. It really does. Now, before I sign out and go, I do want to welcome Snake Jesse 01 to the chat. He says, Spider-Man, what's your take with that? Because I always hear he is the lowest of heroes. Oh, that just hurts my heart, Jesse, because he's like my favorite. And the reason he's my favorite is because I know this is your first time in here, but this is a dork-oriented show, and I just see Peter Parker as being a dork, and then when he gets bitten by this radioactive spider, he becomes all cool. So it's like one of those situations where I wish I could get bitten by a radioactive spider so I could be cool, spin webs and swing from buildings and climb walls. Then I would go to Reddit and I would kill Reddit if I had the spider powers. That's what I would do. But nonetheless, even if you don't like Spider-Man, I do appreciate you coming into the show because you can be a dork and not like Spider-Man. That's okay. I get it. And Snake Jesse 01, I have something I need to tell you. If you want to be official, if you want to be an official dork of the Chris Top program, you have to go to my Facebook fan page and post the dorkiest picture that you have of yourself on the fan page. And that will put you there with the other immortal dorks in the world. It really will. Now, and I do appreciate you coming to the show. So, with that being said, I want to say this. And I say this every show at the end. And I if I didn't mean it, I wouldn't say it after every show. Until I broadcast again, please remember, life is good, and I'm gone.
Is it over yet?
Completely over.
You have been exposed to the Chris Top program.
Yeah, okay, are we done? I really gotta get a life.
Okay, so if you've ever been to a concert, to like a really popular rock concert, then you know that the best bands, they always come back and they do an encore. Well, that's what this is. Now, I'm not going to get a... what was I even going to say? I'm not going to do a whole broadcast. And see, and that's why I'm not going to do it, because by this time I'm really scatterbrained. I've been broadcasting now for about 119 minutes. So I'm a little bit scatterbrained. So I'm going to maybe... we're going to do one more thing. But first, let me double check Reddit again. I want to make sure nobody else has left a comment on Reddit. And I want to check it as many times as I can before I'm banned. Oh, no. Are you serious? Okay, I think they're pulling something. I think they're pulling something on me now, because I just refreshed the page, and this is what come up. Reddit is down for emergency maintenance. So, okay, did they ban me, or are they just screwing with me? That's what I want to know, because they may have known my show was almost over and I was about to spam them again. But it is kind of cool. They said maybe you could go outside or something. So, I don't know. So, Reddit is down. Oh, that just bugs me. That just really bugs me. Now, Snake says, don't worry, I'm not new to the dorkness. Been loving your tones for years. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you're here. And, I've been making I started out making ringtones. That's how I developed a really a strong fan base. I had several thousand followers on phones. I don't now because I had to recreate my account. But I sort of brought a pretty large fan base to Spreaker with me when I came here and started doing this. So it's nice to see somebody from the old school. That's hanging out in the chat and listening. And Snake's going to get right on leaving the dorky picture, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you bringing that up. Good night, Sonya. You have a great night. P.S. says encore. Holly says, Sonya, don't tell me you fell for him leaving, right? And I hope Sonya didn't. I hope Sonya knows better, because she's at every show, so I'm hoping she doesn't leave and miss the last encore part every time. And she says, I say goodnight when he ends the first time. I know he's coming back. I've been listening to him for over 2 years. Sonya's the one that listens to my show. See? Sonya, I bet you've grown several cup sizes from listening to the Chris Top program. Well, that's one of the facts. You listen to the Chris Top program on a regular basis, then you gain at least 2 cup sizes. That was one of the it's got to be true. It's on the internet. Now, I'm guessing that everybody listening to the show is a night owl. Well, I've got some bad news for you. Probably not the best thing for you. I mean, to me, it's sort of insane when people get up early in the morning. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, you get up about the time I go to bed. There's something wrong with you, dude. Something way wrong with you. But leave it to those crazy psychologists. Because they've determined that night owls are likelier to be psychopaths, to be narcissistic. See, I think they're just giving us a hard time. I really think they're just giving us a hard time. Now, there's a psychologist, Dr. Peter, and we'll just call him Dr. Peter because that's kind of fun to say. Now, he links the personality traits, which he calls the dark triad. So if you're a dork that stays up late, then you're more likely to be a psychopath. You're more likely to be narcissistic. You are going to be a member of the dark triad. Now, so he calls it the dark triad to evolution and claims that they're merely to occupy and exploit a low-light environment where others are sleeping and have diminished cognitive functioning. What the hell is he talking about? I stay up late because I do my broadcast sometimes. I mean, and you guys stay up late because you're here listening. It's not like we're vampires. We're not taking advantage of sleepy people. We're just hanging out. Now, Dr. Peter, he says that due to their, he says they're into casual sex. Again, I'm sitting here doing my broadcast. I'm in my boxer shorts, but I have clothes on. Mate poaching and risk taking. Who the hell is Dr. Peter? Who says mate poaching? Okay, I'm going to go to the bar tonight with the guys. We're going to check out some females. We're going to find the females that have the prettiest feathers. And we're going to mate poach tonight. Only the females who have the prettiest feathers. Those are the ones we're going to mate poach. I mean, what would a woman say if you walked up to her in a bar and said, hey, I would love to mate poach you, baby? What would she say to that? You think she'd buy you a drink? I don't think she would. Try that line sometime. Scooter, I don't know if you're listening anymore or not, but next time you're out with the guys, just... I know you're married, but I mean, this isn't going to work anyway. So just go up to a woman and say, hey, baby, how about you and me going back to my place for a little mate poaching? See what she does. So if you stay up late, you're more prone toward casual sex, mate poaching, and risk taking. And night owls are like many other nocturnal predators such as lions, African hunting dogs, and scorpions. So I want to thank each and every one of the lions, each and every one of the African hunting dogs, and each and every one of the scorpions for listening to the program tonight. I appreciate all of you. Now, everyone go and have casual sex and start mate poaching right away as soon as the show's over. Me, I'm probably going to go to bed. Now, see, now Chaz says Reddit is working just fine for him. So I think maybe Reddit is out to get me. I think that's what's going on. So Chaz, you should go and post on my Reddit post. And just say something obnoxious. Sonia says, good Lord, I don't need any more cup sizes. Snake says, oh boy. Holly says, some people are up at the butt crack of dawn like 3:30 a.m. It's crazy. Yeah, I know, and I'm just now getting sleepy at 3:30. Well, it's 2:17 here right now, so, I mean, more than likely, I'm going to be up until 3:30 at least. Chaz says, cognitive. I like that word. I think I will use it more often. The word that you should use more often is mate poaching. Maybe we can make that the word of the show one day. Snake says, I stay up all night because I sleep all darn day. Guy Shay says, Chris, you just described my entire family. And P.S. is going to so use the mate poaching line. Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate you all for listening. I will see you next time. I won't be doing a broadcast for the next couple of days anyway. But look for me the next 3 or 4 days for sure. I will be back. We'll get our dork on, I promise. You'll eventually get your Chris Top fix. In the meantime, you can go back and listen to the podcast if you need that. If you have to have that to get by, they are available. I promise you. I promise you. And maybe in the next couple of days I'll try to do an earlier broadcast. And Chaz is going to use the word mate poaching. Everybody try to use that in a sentence with someone that you love in the next 24 hours, and let me know how that goes down. Because I would love to know how they respond to mate poaching. Until I broadcast again, please remember, life is good and I am gone.
This is the Chris Top Program.
Call of Duty, Operation Skid Mark.
Sir, we have found the Russian secret weapon. They have developed an anti-shrinking ray. We are fighting giant Russians, sir. And, sir, it would seem as though they're taking giant craps on all the men. There ain't no way I'm going to ride on that across that water.
I will show you puny Americans what the true Call of Duty is.
Look, we need a chopper in here yesterday. The men are dropping like flies. Wait a minute, that was a fly. Never mind.
I love the smell of duty in the morning. Call of Duty, Operation Skid Mark.
Take it from the top. Take it from the top. Take it from the top.
The Chris Top Program. Listened to by tens of thousands of people. With podcasts on over 30 sites worldwide. But only live on Spreaker.com.
Take it from the top. Take it from the top.
I was wondering, are you going to eat that?
Take it from the top.
No, I swear, you burn calories while you're listening to my show. Lots of calories. It's like setting a fat kid on fire. No, it's not WOBA, it's WABA. WABA. Dude, my neighbor just busted me stealing his Wi-Fi. I've got to end the show now. The Chris Top Program. Join the best chat on Spreaker.com.